Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight we're bringing you a good one here under the lights because it's a Race 1 Wrap Street Stock Series with the American Sim Racing Club for race number 7 here at Richmond. Last night, the American Sim Racing Club Postma Flooring Late Model Stocks had a dual 40-lap feature event, and that was absolutely incredible racing. If you guys get a chance, have some of your favorite drivers here. Most of these guys were racing last night, and man, some incredible racing to have last night. Can't wait to see what these drivers do here tonight in the street stocks. Of course, here tonight, this is race number 7, so getting further along into the season, now officially into the second half of the season. Once we take the green flag here tonight, and it should be interesting as coming in a points battle between Zach Nichols and last week's winner, Ron Hart, tightens on up. That, of course, with Ron Hart winning last week. Top 3 looking like Ron Hart, Greggy Long, of course, with a great battle with Ron there at the finish. Slinger, of course, 2 weeks ago was a great one there with a side-by-side finish to the checkered no contact at Slinger, which is pretty unheard of. And then Jaden Kratachi rounding out the top 3. So with Ron Hart winning last week, of course, that puts him to the tail end of the field this week with the old shotgun rule to try and add some extra variety here with the American Sim Racing Club. So practice into its final minute. We'll take a look here at the times, and right now very, very close in times. I want to say less than 0.2 of a second here separating first through, I want to say almost 20th here tonight. So time's going to be very, very tight in qualifying. Of course, that's what's coming up right after this. A quick 5-minute best of 2-lap qualifying here to set the order. Top 12 will be inverted here. And then from there, 60-lap main event for these guys to do battle. And we'll find out who's walking away with the 7th race wrapping on up and see who's walking away with a checkered flag. Of course, looking at the stats here in ASRC this season, only repeat winner was last week's winner, Ron Hart. Then it is Zach Nichols to visit victory lane, Dave Payton, Hayden Swank, who was on a great tear of top 3 finishes. That coming to an end with an early incident at Slinger. We'll see if Hayden can rebound. And then Matthew Modulewski and a few starts for him, picking up a checkered flag earlier this season as well. So here we go. We head on over to qualifying, and we'll see what cars are first to roll to the speedway and keep an eye on some of these drivers. One driver I would like to take a look at here, as it looks like he actually reset, should get that thing refired, is the 038 machine. That is Braden Cook. I actually got a moment here earlier this week to sit down with Braden and find out a little bit more with him with the driver spotlight here at ASRC, a new thing we're doing this season to try and get back to some of these racers and help them get a little bit of promotion, highlight the drivers that do put on a great show that we watch each and every week. So Braden Cook on the clock for his first lap in the 038 machine. Heads down the backstretch there. We saw a little bit of some loose race car, just a little bit there in 1 and 2. I heard a report from many drivers that first couple laps going to be a little sketchy on cold tires, but once these things heat on up, they're pretty well planted here. But everyone's got to keep an eye on that right rear tire here tonight. So first lap in the books for Cook, a 24.14. That's good enough for P number 6 right now. Andrew Payne goes to quick time. Now it is Zach Nichols. Wow, what a lap by Nichols. Cook across the stripe for the second time, does improve to 24.0. That'll put him good enough for P number 9 inside of the invert here. Of course, some more information from Cook. His nickname Cookie, been sim racing 2 years. Favorite track car combo are the street stocks at Langley, so we know Cook's a big fan of this street stock series. future goals of ASRC. Hopefully find victory lane one a few times and to be competitive each week. Other hobbies that Cook enjoys is racing with his family at the Berlin Raceway here in Michigan. And of course, some of the sponsors on that 038, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Diesel Tech, NYI Uniform, Walker Self-Storage, Katie Cook Photography, and Core Renovations. Now taking a look here at the 11, this is Jaden Kratachi. Kratachi first lap only 14th quick here. So that's a 24.06 for the 11 on lap number 1. He's got to find a little bit more speed here on lap number 2 to get inside that invert. Invert, remember folks, top 12 right now. It's Jimmy Gauker on the cut line here. Will be the driver now bumped out as Nathan Coaster goes into the top 3, let's say. Greggy Long to second here very late. So some impressive runs by some drivers late here tonight. As Greggy Long goes second quick, Coaster fourth quick. That will move Cook out of the invert. Jaden Kratachi's going to miss it. Jimmy Gauker will also miss it as well. And at the moment, Jeff Dillon is going to walk away here on the pole of our feature event. So here we go, a quick little warm-up for drivers to get on ready for this feature event. During this time, we're going to take a look here at some race information here for the Race1Wraps.com Street Stock Series here at Richmond. Looks like a nice, cool night. 65 degrees out here at the Richmond Raceway. A little bit of humidity, 67%. Clear skies, doesn't look like a cloud in this dark sky here tonight. And then quite a bit of winds rolling on through. I know it's windy up where I'm at in the real life world. And it seems like that is the case also down in Richmond as well. If you want to find out more about American Sim Racing Club, be sure to look them up at just that American Sim Racing Club on Facebook. Also with the American Sim Racing Club, we got to thank all the great sponsors that make this happen. You know, I usually shout them out towards the end. While we got a quick second, I would like to bring them up on screen. Of course, that's Race 1 Wraps. They do a lot of great work at the local racing scene, as well as commercial work as well here in Michigan. So if you like anything that you see, whether t-shirts, some awesome fan appreciation signs, of course, race car wraps, and any sort of vehicle wraps, be sure to like them and check them out at Facebook at Race 1. Also, we got to, of course, shout out LaPlante Racing Products coming on board for another season, partnering with ASRC. Boardwalk Subs, always the caution counter here, and some of the best subs on the west side of Michigan. And, of course, the title sponsor of the other series at American Sim Racing Club, that being Postma Flooring. So that will do it here tonight for the warm-up, and here we go. We get to send in car trackside, and let's run through tonight's starting order. Here we go, folks. The starting order for race number 7 of the Race1Wraps.com Street Stock Series. Leading the field to green tonight will be the 52, that being piloted by Jeff Dillon. And to his outside, making his return to ASRC. Haven't seen him in a while, making a big impact here tonight. We'll start on the front row. It is the 20 machine of Regan Ford. Then we head to row number 2, rolling off in P number 3 will be the 33. A lot of threes there in position number 3. That is Ty Delphia. And then to Ty's outside, he's one of the fan favorites here, the old man, the 38 machine, that is Dave Payton. Rolling off P number 5 will be the 6 car, that is Mark Fuquay. And to his outside, one of the championship contenders here in the Street Stock Series, that is the 88 of Chuck Darling. Rolling off 7th will be the 66, that is Stephen Rochford. And to his outside, the 93 of Andrew Payne. Starting in P number 9 will be Nathan Coaster in the 0903 or the 53 on the car. And to his outside will be the 35. That is Hayden Swank in the Purple People Eater. Rolling off 11th will be the 17, last week's runner-up finisher. That is Greggy Long. And to his outside with the quick time once again here in the 44 will be Zach Nichols. Then in P number 13 will be the 038. That is Braden Cook. To his outside will be the 11 of Jaden Katachi. Rolling off 15th will be Jimmy Gauker in the 02 machine. And then it is Devin McDonald in 16th. 17th going to Stephen Hoffman. 18th, John Sanu. 19th, Zach Hoyer. 20th is Jason Griffith. 21st, Andrew Hardings. 22nd, Caleb Ramsey. 23rd going to Landon Dickens. 24th is Mike McCaskill. And then we head to our back row here. Rolling off 25th will be John DeMeester. And 26th, starting shotgun on the field with winning last week, it is Ron Hart. So that will do it for the lineup here tonight. And here we go. The field gets set to fire on off. The iRacing Pace Truck heads down pit road. And Jeff Dillon on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing here from Richmond for 60 laps. The field will roar down into turn number 1. Dillon all by himself. Ron Hart deep in the field, already trying to get up a ton of positions as we see 3 wide racing here at Richmond. One of the few tracks on the schedule that we'll see quite a bit of 3 wide racing. Dynamic racetrack, but with these cars being as slow as they are, quickest way around will be right around that yellow inside lane. So up in front, Regan Ford able to get some gap there, slot into second. Mark Fuquay in third there, all by himself. Front 3 single file, then further on back, Stephen Rochford trying to get around Ty Delphia. Now Coaster looking to make it 3 wide into turn number 1. They will dive it in there, stick to their lanes. Will they make it work? It looks like at the moment, yes, they will. Coaster will slot on back as we ride on board with him, jump back out here. So that'll put Rochford up into 4th here, with Coaster trying to quickly make his way through the field. Already up 4 spots from where he started in the invert. Like we said, we saw this guy on a mission to start the race. He's wasting no time. Biggest mover of the race so far, Ron Hart, up 8 spots in the first 4 laps here. As one car sideways, that is Devin McDonald. He will slide it down pit road and we will stay green flag racing here. Further back up to the front here tonight, we have a battle for second. Fuquay down low, Ford up top. Then right behind them, side by side for the next 2 rows behind. Some great racing to start this race, and it's still a 60-lap race. These guys still have to keep an eye on their tires, keep that in mind. But everyone seems to be what they want to do is go towards the front, but oh, a tough break here as Ron Hart missing the front nose cone. It looks like Chuck Darling also involved. So we'll take a look here, see what brought out this first yellow flag of the evening here on lap number 6. So jumping on board here with Ron Hart. Hart was running 14th here at the time, and maybe we'll speed this up just a little bit more. Gonna try and see what happened to the 51 that caused the front end damage. If I had to guess, may have come up a little bit further, and that it looks like it does. So we'll go take a look one more time, see what happened with Chuck Darling, because I think this is where it started. Darling side by side with Gauker, Greggy Long in front, and oh, it looks like Gauker just gets jacked up by Zach Nichols. Gauker tries to save it, makes heavy contact with Chuck Darling, and then, yeah, Ron Hart just trying to predict where the car was going to spin, guessed wrong and made heavy contact with his teammate, Chuck Darling. So a tough break there, but it looks like Zach Nichols does claim that yellow, so Nichols will go all the way to the back here looks like about 23rd position with the claim. So our points leader once again starting in a deep hole here tonight at Richmond. So first incident of the night here, and looks like both Ron Hart and Jimmy Gauker both on pit road here. So I believe this time by we should get the 1 to go signal. If that's the case, we'll wait to chat with some drivers later on in the race, as lights do stay on. But at least gives me a moment, catch my breath, you know, figure out what was going on, because there is a lot of good racing up towards the front. And speaking about up towards the front, let's run through the top 5 here at the moment. Jeff Dillon currently leading the way. Mark Fuquay in second. Regan Ford currently sits in P number 3. Nathan Coaster is in 4th. And then it is Stephen Rochford rounding out the top 5 here on the first restart of the night. So some cars having to make some big time evasive maneuvers in that incident, some of them being like Caleb Ramsey, Andrew Hardings, John DeMeester, all had to make some split-second decisions not to get involved in that one, doing a great job at that. But here we go, kind of a 1/6 of the way already done in the race here, but we get ready to turn them back loose here in just one lap. The lights go on out around the Richmond Raceway, and here we go. Jeff Dillon gonna elect the inside lane. And once again, Dillon gonna lead the field back to the green flag. Pace car dives down to pit road, and once again, Dillon early on the loud pedal. Last time it worked out for a great restart for him. Once again, though, looks pretty decent, but Fuquay had a big run there on the top side. Was almost going to see about making it work, but able to dive down and take over P number 2 by himself. Further on back, here we go, 3 wide race in action there as Andrew Payne gets shuffled on back, and oh, 1 car sideways, Ty Delphia. Big time sideways, but somehow saves that race car. So somehow we stay green flag racing at a little bit of chaos to kick off this first restart of the night. Up towards the front here, Coaster able to get into P number 3. That puts Ford back to 4th. Rochford still in 5th. As though this battle right around the top 10, very, very intense, as we see the 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey, a man on a mission here. Ty once again very sideways. I think Ty, from that contact earlier, got that right rear hot, and he's just trying to hang on to that race car, try and cool it on off, but he's got a lot of hungry drivers behind him, because Ramsey, that sits behind him, already up 8 spots from where he started. Zach Nichols up 8 spots. Coyer up in spots as well. 1 car stopped there. It looks like 1 car gonna spin after the fact, but man, Greggy Long in a bad spot to spin there. Luckily everyone able to mostly get it on by and not make contact with the spun 17 machine. So we take a look here at last week's runner-up finisher, see what happened to Long here going into turn number 1. As Long makes contact with Andrew Payne, and Long goes spinning to the inside wall off the nose of the 93 machine. So not sure if they just kind of guessed which lane, or some car moving around a little bit. It helps, you know, us watching at home, we can watch it in slow-mo, but it looks like Payne running Long very close. Long starting to come down the hill just a little bit. They meet in the middle, and that sends the 17 around. Luckily, it doesn't look like too big of a hit to the wall, but the bigger thing, 17 not getting clobbered by anyone else, and looks like Andrew Payne gonna claim that one. So the 93 machine gonna tap on the roof, head to the back and say, yeah, that was my bad there, Greggy, and head to the back with him. So 2 cautions off of the nose of another car here to start the night. 2 claims to start, so that's something here in ASRC we always love to promote. Always really try and, you know, talk a lot about the sportsman side of racing, especially sim racing. You know, if you guys race any sort of sim racing, especially official, you know, the courteous stuff can go out the window pretty quickly. But here in ASRC, we try and keep that as some of our core values, and that's usually demonstrated each week here with either series that any driver wants to join with. So it looks like Ron Hart's going to be the lucky dog here this time by. That'll put the 51 machine back on the lead lap. So the only car 1 lap down here that is out on the track. It looks like Jimmy Gauker still getting extensive repairs done on that 02 car, so his night probably coming to a early end. And here we go at the stripe once again. Jeff Dillon gonna have the choose here. It looks like once again gonna choose the inside lane. Everyone else will re-rack, restack, double file them on up, and we get ready to turn them loose here for the second restart of the night. Once again, not too much of a change here in the top 5, except for P number 5. Hayden Swank was able to get around Rochford. As actually, no, top 5 going to be exactly the same here on this restart as it was last time. So here we go. Dylan has gotten some great restarts. Let's see if he can do another one. Riding on board with our leader. Once again, gonna go nice and early for the 52 machine. And here we go, back to green flag racing. Fuquay is gonna be able to be side by side with Dylan, diving down into turn number 1. Wow, Fuquay drives it in there very deep. He's gonna get clear of Dylan off of turn number 2. Power move by the number 6. He says he wants the lead, and he'll go take it in whichever lane he can. Off of turn number 4, new race leader at the stripe. It is the number 6 here. Now Nathan Coaster gonna try and replicate what he just saw from the 6 up on the top side. He's trying to bring along, looks like Hayden Swank as well. As the rest of the field still trying to race on through, figure out where they want to be. So side by side for a lot of cars here. It seems like Coasters can't find his way back down to that inside lane. Neither can Swank further on back. Dave Payton now side by side with Delphia. I know he wanted to see those yellows cool down that right rear, but here we go, 3 wide into turn number 1. Zach Nichols gonna force the issue down low. Payne will jump out of it big time. Will maybe try the crossover, as that 38 machine gonna have a big run down the backstretch. We'll give Nichols a shot in the shorts there going into turn number 3. Now in front of them once again, side by side for just a second there, 3 wide for a moment. As Rochford now trying to get around Regan Ford. Hayden Swank has completed a pass on those 2, so Swank up into 4th. This is a great battle here because right behind them, some big movers. Zach Coyer, who has been very, very underrated here in these street stocks, has had a lot of speed the last 2 seasons in these things. Just hasn't quite been able to put it all together for a win. Would love to do that here. He sits a whopping 12 positions up from where he qualified. And then of course Jaden Kutachi just missing out on the invert. He sits in 8th, and then this guy started in the back of our first restart, already back up in the top 10. Zach Nichols once again on a mission. So top 5 single filed on out here at the moment. But right here, right around the top 10 running order, some great battles here at the Richmond Raceway. As old contact further on back between Griffith and I believe it was the 18 of Devin McDonald. Both of those cars, I'd say, able to keep themselves facing the right direction here. As that could have been very bad. I think both of those cars getting sideways here, but we now get ever so closer here to that all-important halfway mark here. We'll have to see if drivers decide to turn it on up, because I know there's quite a few drivers. I chatted with a lot of them here before the race. I know quite a few said they're going to save that right rear at least a little bit if they can. But with these cars being so close on times each and every lap, they know at the end of the day it is all about track position here. Heading back towards the front of the field now, Jaden Kratachi trying to work over the 20 machine. This is a battle for P number 6. Like I said before, top 5, all single filed out, trying to run their best laps, trying to keep those all important positions. But looks like Kratachi will get clear forward here off of turn number 2. That will leave Zach Coyer the door wide open here down low of the 20 machine. Tachi gonna be able to get clear. Now Coyer will try and work over the 20 right behind them. Nichols with a big send to the inside of Ty and that 33 machine. He wants to try and get around him here in a hurry. Was able to get a nose in there in 1 and 2. Will continue to try and keep the nose to the inside of the 33. A little bit of contact there through 3 and 4. That time by at the stripe for Mark Fuqua leading the way. It is cross flags here at Richmond. Halfway down, halfway to go here in race number 7. So right in front of them, those cars still side by side between Coyer and Ford. Nichols just about clear, not quite clear over Ty there for Pete number 9. Ty's got to be careful. The longer he sticks out on that top lane, the more opportunity Hoffman can get. As Coyer makes a mistake, he will lose 2 spots. Now Hoffman and Coyer go side by side for P number 10. And then right behind them, we get this intense 4-car battle. Can throw a blanket over all of them. Greggy Long involved in the last yellow, trying to make up positions. He will slide right to the door of McDonald. Those two would drag race door bang a little down the backstretch. Then right behind them, Griffith and Ramsey side by side. Andrew Payne waiting in the wings, waiting for their line to open on up. Out in front, big time sideways for the battle for the race lead, as we saw Nathan Coaster absolutely drift that second place machine there in 1 and 2. Fuqua will be able to hang on to the spot, but Coaster putting big time pressure on our race leader here. As here further on back, a great battle here between Ron Hart, Jimmy Gauker, and John DeMeester. Even though, you know, they're running for kind of last in the order here at the moment, they're still having fun, still duking it out, elbows out racing, which you always gotta love to see here in ASRC. That time by at the stripe, we already head on over to our countdown clock. Here this time by at the stripe will be 24 laps to go. Still single filed out there inside of the top 10 for the most part. First battle right here for the 10th position. That being Hoffman and Coyer still side by side. And you can see just how tough it is here inside these cars. These cars slipping and sliding just a little bit. You want to keep your momentum, but you have to pinch it on down just a little bit to not make contact. As once again, 3 wide racing here as it's Payne down low, Griffith in the middle, and then it is Deb McDonald up top. Oh, contact here. Griffith and McDonald make contact off of turn number 2, and that's the pinch point here at Richmond. Is coming off of turn number 2. That wall comes up very, very quickly, and that was 3 wide racing just gone just a little bit awry there. As we'll take a look at the turn 3 racing replay here to bring out our 3rd caution. But as we can see here, coming off of turn number 2, just 3 wide racing. Griffith trying to give Payne the room, didn't quite give McDonald enough room, and then the rest of the field doing a nice job avoiding those 2 stopped cars against the wall. But it looks like Griffith's going to have a decent amount of damage on the front end. I believe McDonald will have some damage on the right side. As you know what, we haven't got a chance really to talk to this guy. Let's try and dial up our race leader of Mark Fuqua and see what he's thinking, see how he's thinking that car's feeling. Hey Mark, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Got you.
Alrighty, my man, you're out here leading the way here with an impressive power move on the top side. I mean, where did that come from?
Man, just trying to save a little bit here and trying to make it to the end. Nathan, Jeff both seem really fast behind me.
Yeah, and I mean, 20 laps to go. You know, tires are no tires over the wall, anything like that. What you have is what you have. What's the game plan for these last 20 laps here tonight?
The old famous words, dude, let her eat.
There you go, there you go. I mean, you know, you've had some speed here in the street stocks, couldn't quite get the luck you needed, but here at a big track, you know, it's very much a driver's track. Do you think that combo has really helped you here tonight to be out here leading the field?
Man, this is probably one of my favorite tracks in the street stocks. I love it when officials are here. Me and old Cole Beer at Courier normally have some pretty good runs here.
Yeah, this track is definitely a lot of fun. I like to say it's a very driver's track because it's a lot of speed, but you still have to finesse any car that comes to Richmond.
Absolutely. It's all about throttle control.
Yeah, that it is. So, Mark, see, we get the 1 to go signal. So, real quick, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you loose?
Coleman Design for keeping these cars looking pretty.
Alrighty, yeah, you got one of the best looking. I love the gold numbers and the gold rims on that thing. So, Mark, good luck on this restart and the rest of this race.
Thanks, sir.
Alrighty, folks, that was a quick word with our race leader, Mark Fuqua, and he's getting ready to send the field back to green flag racing here tonight. So front row, Fuqua, Coaster gonna make it on up, and here we go. Mark's gonna wait a little bit, and now on the loud pedal, he gets away with a great start. Coaster able to jump down to the bottom right away. First 2 single filed out, then it's 2 by 2 for the rest of the field as they roar through turns 1 and 2. Can Hayden Swank get back into that top 3 here and pick back up on that streak that was ended last time we were out at Slinger? One car very sideways. That was Delphia once again. He gets stuck in the middle of 3 wide. Can he make it down? He'll find a hole, slam his car down in there. Right in front of Andrew Payne, so we will stay green here. Some great racing. This is just outside of the top 10. Here now looking closer to the top 5. First 2 single filed out. Dylan trying to hold Swank honest here. Coaster will take a look to the inside of Fuqua. Will think better of it, but still 2 by 2 here for 3rd and 5th positions. And these guys can't stay side by side too long because that will let the leaders run on away. But just as I say that, battle for the race lead. Nathan Coaster to the inside of the 6. Side by side here throughout the field here. And will we have a new race leader down the backstretch? Give the advantage to Fuquay by a nose. They'll sail through 3 and 4 here. Coaster has to keep that right rear underneath that race car. Looks like that he will lead at the stripe. Coaster still has to, like I said, hit those marks, not slide that right rear, not slide up to that car in front of him. If he can do that, I think he can eventually clear, but right now, still side by side Swank able to get clear of Dylan. So now, contact for the race lead. They're off at turn number 4. They will door bang. Here comes Hayden Swank to make it 3 wide for the race lead. Man, oh man, great racing here off of turn number 2. They will continue to stay 3 wide for the race lead. Hayden Swank gonna try and keep the nose in. We'll smartly back on out of it, but we will slow down the field here for the 4th yellow of the night. Looks like it might have involved the 3 of McCaskill and maybe the 88 of Chuck Darling. So I believe those guys were running right around the 15th position when this came on out. So we're going to take a look at the turn 3 race and replay and see what happened to bring out the 4th caution of the night. Oh, and it looks like McCaskill just gets a bit of the apron there off of turn number 2. That car is still sideways. Darling going to try and shoot down to the low side. And then they make more contact with each other. We're going to try and see one more time. Yeah, it looks like McCaskill just was never able to save that car and came down into Darling, sent them both hard into that inside wall. Luckily, just missing that opening, but still some big time hits for the 3 and the 88 machine. It looks like some of that tough luck catching on up once again with the 88 of Chuck Darling. So with this, that will give Jimmy Gowker one of those many laps back that he is down here tonight. And let's try and chat with a driver. You know, we chat to a good bit, but at the moment, you know, he's up 9 positions from where he started. Let's try and get a word with Zach Coyer here. Running in P number 9, but up 10 positions from where he started. Zach, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I do.
Alrighty, man. Well, I can see we're going 1 to go here real quick. What's the game plan for these last 10 laps?
Man, give her everything she's got. I know we're fast because we're all staying in a group, so anything's possible here at the end.
Yeah, I said before on the broadcast, you seem to have a lot of speed on the street stocks. Real quick, what's the key in your mind with the street stocks?
Letting them roll. Once you feel that bite, you get up on her and go.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we'll try and chat with you here some more, but good luck on the restart, Zach.
Thank you, Bubba.
Alrighty, that was a quick word with Zach Coyer because the field already going back to green. Coaster, Fuquay on the front row. Here we go for a 10-lap shootout to finish this race on off. Coaster gets away with a great restart out in front. Hayden Swank will look to the inside of Fuquay. Fuquay gets big time sideways. He somehow hangs onto the race car. Looks like Coyer's gonna go around. Oh man, we were just talking with Zach Coyer there and caught up in an incident not caused by himself there. Oh man, heartbreak for Coyer there. It's, like I said, just chatting with him, but we'll take a look here, see what happened in 1 and 2, because you'll see the initial contact there between Hayden Swank and Mark Fuquay, both battling over the inside lane. Jeff Dillon somehow hangs onto that race car, and then yeah, Coyer just gets enough of a tap in the back from the 17 machine, sending that 13 machine on around. But oh, what a heartbreak here. So I hate to chat with him after something like that, but let's try and get a quick word once again with Zach Coyer. Alrighty, man. I hate to be chatting with you after an incident like that, man, but I figure I have to chat with you again. Oh, that was a heartbreak there. What'd you see from inside your car, and was there anything else you could have done there, Zach?
We all got bunched up going into one, everybody fighting for the same thing, and it just felt like I got ran through there. I'm not too sure if I came down in front of somebody, but definitely felt like I had help. I hate to do that.
Yeah, you definitely did have some help in the back end there, so that is a tough break. Like we were saying, it seems like, Zach, you always have a lot of speed. I mean, I remember even racing with you last season. It always seemed like you were up towards the front, and like we said, like I asked before, you said rolling these things was the key, and do you just tend to find that extra little speed, especially in the race pace here with the street stocks?
Oh yeah, qualifying's not my strongest point of my racing ability, and I definitely pick it up throughout the race. Seeing how other people drive, you can really test your marks and whatnot. But definitely during the race, you pick up a whole lot of knowledge and a whole lot of speed.
Yeah, that you do. So going to be an interesting restart for you here, starting deep. But before I let you go and turn on loose, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah, I'm hoping Mark up there pulls it out. I'd love to see the teammate get it done. Mark or Jeff Dillon up there.
Awesome stuff. We would love to see that as well. So, Zach, good luck here on this restart.
Thank you, Bubba.
Alrighty, that was Zach Coyer, and here we go up front. Nathan Coaster once again leading the field to green. Hayden Swank to his outside. Let's see what Coyer's teammates can do. They started third and fourth there. Jeff Dillon gonna try and get back those positions as one car big time sideways in 1 and 2. That is Greggy Long. Now Braden Cook involved. He will go around the nose. Oh, and a big hit down the backstretch. Man, oh man, turn one seems like the trouble spot here on these restarts. These drivers know it's all take and no give at this point, and these guys racing like it here. So we're gonna take a look here. Looks like even further started a little bit later, so we're gonna see what happened here at this restart. Take a look at a wide angle, but I believe it started with Greggy Long in Tydelphia going into turn number 1 here. So the field will restart, get refired, trying to go up through the gears. Of course, 4 gears here. Payne making a move there to force a 3 wide. Oh, looks like Stephen Rochford not able to get a good start there. Lost quite a bit of positions. Then they go 4 wide into turn number 1. It's actually off the nose of Stephen Hoffman that Greggy gets big time loose. Stephen Rochford also gets loose, but then, yeah, as the 17 tries to save it, the 038 and the 33 make contact there. That sends a 33 spinning, and then right in the path of Mike McCaskill, and a big hit for both Cook and McCaskill there. So if I had to guess, I'll put an end to both Cook's and McCaskill's night. But man, oh man. Lights are out, and here we go. I believe this is an attempt at a green-white checkered here tonight, so I believe we only have one. I could double check real quick. As we'll call it on the fly here. So it's going to be Coaster Dillon on the front row. What else is in store? As here we go. Coaster gets away with a great start out in front, so he should have not too much stress as long as he can hit his marks these last couple corners. Hayden Swank going to try and get Dillon for P number 2. Those two will drag race there off of turn number 2. Zach Nichols going to force the issue 3 wide here going into turn number 3. That'll put Jaden Kratacci way up the racetrack, right against the wall. We will see the white flag, so we are going to be racing back to the checkered here tonight. Nathan Coaster out in front, but great battles throughout the rest of the field here as Rochford once again big time sideways. They will wreck down the backstretch. Andrew Payne involved. Big time hits for a ton of drivers. Holy smokes. And off of turn number 4, Nathan Coaster will pick up his first win of the season. They will also be wrecking here into turn number 1. Regan Ford trying to keep that thing rolling, but man, some big time hits there on the last lap. But how about that Nathan Coaster gonna pick up the checkered flag here, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his first ever ASRC win gonna come tonight here in the street stocks at Richmond Raceway. So we'll be chatting with the top 3 here after the race, that being Jeff Dillon, Hayden Swake, and Nathan Coaster. But real quick, we got to take a look at that white flag lap here, as it looks like Nathan Coaster going to start the Polish victory lap. Maybe not going to head down to the infield here and head on over to the Richmond Raceway victory lane. So big congrats to Nathan. But once again, let's check out this white flag lap here and see what kind of happened to a lot of these drivers here down the backstretch. So here we go, coming to the white flag here, and these guys all on top of each other. You know, everyone's trying to get every position that they can take here. It looks like, oh, Ford and Rochefort make contact. That puts it 3 wide. And then Rochefort gets turned off the nose of McDonald. All these guys coming on in, and then a big time pile up as, wow, a lot of big hits there. Dave Payton, John DeMeester, Ty Delphia, and it looks like even looks like the 98 machine of Jason Griffith tried and is going to finish this race backwards. Wow, what a finish there. But that will do it for the race replay here, and we're going to try and chat with our top 3, that of course being Coaster, Swank, and Dillon here. So we're going to go to commercial break really quick. On the other side, we'll be chatting with our top 3. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, we come back here live to Richmond Raceway, and the first driver we'll be chatting with here is the driver of the number 52, that being Jeff Dillon. Jeff, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, my man. You led the field to green. You led a bunch of laps at the end of the day. Finishing P number 3 has to feel pretty good when all things said and done, especially with those chaotic late race restarts.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a great night. Thankfully the invert worked out pretty good here for me, and then yeah, somehow made it with 0x. So I was very lucky to be on the inside there and not get bumped anywhere along the line. But overall, definitely take it, as I didn't have much speed in practice, but to get a third, this is it's a big night.
Yeah, that it is. And you know, Jeff, we chatted with you before once a season, a 3rd place at Nashville, another kind of chaotic, tricky track here. And this one kind of the same, you know, a little bit less on the craziness with, let's say, the track surface. But I always say Richmond, one of the bigger driver tracks, let's say, no matter what car comes here. What kind of clicked for you once it came race time?
Yeah, and it was definitely more of a handful than I was planning on being. It was really free at first, and even late in the run, the car was still free on entry. And yeah, I'm more just trying to back up my corners a little bit, so I wouldn't drive in so hard, because you don't want to use too much brake, because the accident will step out. So you had to be careful of that. But as we got going there in that longer run, you could definitely feel that you were wearing the front a little bit, because it was getting a little bit tight there. So of course you were getting that push loose on the exit. So It was more just backing up the turns, kind of helped me through here. But yeah, even with these slower cars on this bigger short track, it was definitely a handful and it was definitely very easy to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, that it seemed to be. And, taking a look at your stats, man, at least this season, you have been very, very consistent. Of your 6 starts coming into tonight, 5 top 10s. This will make it a 6th and 7th races. I mean, even with the invert, that always causes a little bit of chaos. But how do you end up finishing most of these races in the top 10 when it's all said and done?
I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, I went back to some different wheel settings I ran a couple years ago, and it seems like the street stock car really sat a little bit better than the settings I ran last season. So that's helped out. But also been pretty fortunate this year. Had a couple of wrecks here and there, but for the most part, had a little more luck this season, I think, than the last couple. So it's definitely helping out. But yeah, definitely my teammates as well, Zach in the 13 and Mark and Cled, or Ramsey in the 113. They definitely been helping out and getting us going in the right direction.
Yeah, that it is, Jeff. Always good to see you finishing in the positions that you deserve to be in. Race number 5, top 3. I think Slinger was a more difficult race. I'd say a lot of chaos, of course, there. But now in the second half of the season, starting off with some good momentum. Any tracks you're looking forward to left on the schedule, and what's kind of the game plan for the rest of these races?
Yeah, biggest thing is hopefully I can still have good points nights. Even when I fell back to 4th there, I was like, all right, I was like, try again in top 5. I seen some guys have some problems tonight, so I was like, all right, it'll be a good points night. Yeah, definitely going forward. I would say probably the rest of the season, probably next week will probably be my favorite track out of the next 4 or 5. I like the track, but never actually finished well there, so hopefully that changes next week.
Yeah, hopefully that does, because Irwindale Outer, we always know, puts on a great show with all the lanes that drivers can choose from. It's all about, can everyone make it off the corner safely, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a great track. I wish the bomb had a little more grip so you could be more, use the bomb more in the top, but yeah, it is fun going down to the apron and having 3 and 4 wide there on restart, so it's definitely a entertaining track, and hopefully we can all sort it out once we get off that turn back down to the straightaway.
Yeah, that it is. It will be an exciting race for next season. So, Jeff, once again, congrats on another podium finish here this season. Always great, like I said before, to see you up here and racing where you deserve to be racing here. But before we let you go and celebrate this podium, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors on the car, those all-important teammates that you mentioned before, or maybe some people watching at home.
I would definitely everyone at Turn 3. I was fortunate enough to work with you guys a couple years ago, and you guys always put on great broadcasts, and Tanner, all the RMNs who try to keep all of us in the line. I know that's it's fun, so appreciate his hard work, and again, my teammates for the help they do, and for the core group guy here that show every week to put on a good show.
Alrighty, well, appreciate all those awesome words there, Jeff. You, my man, have a great rest of your night and go celebrate this podium finish. Congrats again on the 3rd.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was Jeff Dillon bringing it home in P number 3. Now we'll head up to our runner-up finisher, that being the 35 in the Purple People Eater, Hayden Swink. Hayden, do you got a copy?
I gotcha, but hey, I didn't eat too many people tonight.
Hey, there you go, there you go. I was worried that we might not see the scheme out here again because Slinger, was not a good night for you. Broke that top 5 finish streak that you had going. That was super impressive, but glad to see it out here and finish probably where you thought you deserved to finish here up in the podium positions.
Yeah. I felt like it was one of the first times all season where I feel like I've had legitimate qualifying speed. Qualified 3rd and then 10th with the invert. That felt good. But yeah, it was just a really great run. Passing was a little bit tough, so I was at least very aggressive on these restarts trying to make up positions.
Yeah, and that seemed like that had to be the case at any time, especially at bigger tracks. Restarts are where you're going to make up the positions because it seemed like once people got spread out, it took almost 2 to 5 laps, let's say, to clear someone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of it, it was tough, but I think it resulted in some really good racing. Some of the battles we had, whether I was a part of them or not, the entire field up front, we were putting on really good shows for most of that race. So it was definitely like when the going was good, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that it was. And Hayden, I mentioned it a little bit before, but that run you were on before Slinger, those top 5, top 3 finishes were very impressive. Was hoping that Slinger could, you could continue that streak, just to think what could have been, if Slinger didn't happen. But how do you bounce back from the race like Slinger, and how does that kind of change your game plan with a race like that thrown into the mix?
Yeah. With Slinger, that was probably the worst track to have, been starting shotgun from. So I was going into it. I knew the streak was at risk, but I would have been happy if I got out of there with a 12th, 13th place finish. But having a wreck and in that way, it's just the worst night possible. So at the end of the day, I know I've found some speed, found a formula that works pretty good in these cars. So it was just a matter of getting back to that, because it was disappointing at Slinger a few weeks ago, but I don't think it was, truly showed what this car is capable of, what we're capable of doing out here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because you come back here, rebound to a P number 2. That's always got to feel good in the rebound. And at a tricky track, Richmond is one of those tracks a lot of drivers come to and say, yeah, it's all right, it's whatever. But I always find it's really a driver's track no matter what comes here, because of how on edge you got to be, but also how perfect do you have to be on your marks. Is that what you feel like as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, this track is good for so many different kinds of racing. I mean, these corners on entry are so inviting. You can be as aggressive with it as you want. In the long runs, you see multiple grooves open up. There's some tire conservation that goes into it. I mean, you said it, Brett. It's a driver's track, and every time you come here, it tests something different, or it tests everything at once. So I love, bringing the street stocks here, the super late models, the cup cars, whatever we decide to run at the ASRC. And I hope tonight showed that, this style of track really plays well to these cars. And hopefully we can make a trip to Iowa next season. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that it would. We still have a couple big tracks on the schedule. And speaking about the schedule, any tracks you still have circled in the second half of the season?
Yeah. Hickory last season, I think, was the race where I finally put it all together, but we didn't walk away with a win. So hopefully trying to, rewrite history on that one. I think if I were to only get one more the rest of the season, which I'd be grateful for, I'd definitely pick Hickory.
Yeah, there you go. That would be an awesome win for you, Hayden, especially right around in your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah. That's I'd say that's probably the closest thing on iRacing, design, I guess, layout wise, to my home track. So, you know what I mean? That style of track just feels right. I'd love to get it done here.
Yeah, that would be very awesome and a feel good story for sure, Hayden. Well, always great talking to you, my man. Always a great time. Love picking your brain here. And once again, congrats on the second place up where I'm sure you're feeling pretty good with the finish. But before we let you go, of course, going to hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either sponsors, other drivers, or maybe some people that might be tuning on in.
Yeah. Just huge shout out to Tanner for continuing to put on this series. I mean, it was a really fun night. And a huge shout out to this field. I feel like we had a really great run, all things considered. We had our moments, but when the racing was good, it was really, really good racing. I think that's what makes the ASRC as good as it is. And again, huge shout out to Race One Wraps for supporting this series all season long. We're not done yet. We still got 5 more really solid races to go. After Slinger, I'm not sure where we stack up as far as a championship battle goes, but I'm ready to throw everything I have at it.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Hayden. Can't wait to see what you got in store for the second half of the season. So you, my man, have a great rest of the night and go celebrate this runner-up finish. Congrats again on the second.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, and now we'll head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour, that being Nathan Coaster. Nathan, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I do.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how we feeling after that race with those late race restarts and all that could happen there?
Yeah, I was a little concerned, certainly. I know, kind of before we had those yellows, you saw Hayden make a move to the bottom, kind of put me in the middle three wide. So I was, in these street stocks, I was just hoping to make all my shifts and not miss one, and just hopefully kind of make the gap that I was able to do on all of those restarts, and not get myself in a position where those guys were, breathing down my neck once again.
Yeah, and I thought did pretty well, especially that last restart fired on off, had cars side by side in your mirror, and I'm sure you love to see that.
Oh yeah, that was certainly the winning factor there. Once guys get side by side behind you, you don't really have to worry about it. Run your line off in a turn one. I actually see on the broadcast that's exactly what happened there. You're watching it, just that nice wide line in a turn one and doing what I needed to do to come away with the win.
Yeah, that you did there. And speaking about those side by side battles, you had to start fairly deep with the invert, and it seemed like it was tough to pass here. So, restarts were the main place to make a pass. How'd you get through the field, and what'd you kind of learn dicing it on up and to end up winning this thing?
I Yeah, I mean certainly I was kind of fortunate. I started on the bottom, gave me some opportunities to be able to just kind of roll by some guys on the bottom, but there was one of the yellows where I restarted fourth, and the outside was good to defend. You just weren't going to be able to quite pass somebody up there. I tried driving in deep, riding on their door, couldn't really make it work. I had to kind of just resort to getting back to the bottom and making that pass, around the inside. So obviously it did take a while. I had a great battle there with Mark for quite some time. Luckily on one of those uh, restarts there, I was able to get to his inside and make it stick.
Yeah, that you were, and great battles, like you said, with Mark and the rest of the drivers as you made through your way through the field. And man, I said it before with all the other interviewers with Richmond. This place is a driver's track at the end of the day. It makes you have to be absolutely perfect. So is that kind of how you feel, and what kind of clicked for you here at Richmond?
Yeah, certainly. With obviously Richmond, I know I had made a start in the late model at Rockingham. So those tracks kind of being more momentum based for these cars, certainly doing whatever it took to keep the momentum up by, for me, if you might have been able to catch on the broadcast, I was kind of entering turn one a little bit higher than Mark, just trying to give myself an opportunity to diamond off the corner, keep it as straight as possible, keep the throttle down, and get that momentum built up. So at the end of the straightaway, I had an opportunity to turn low if need be.
Yeah, and that worked to perfection, able to get the pass done and get the job done down in Victory Lane. And speaking about Victory Lane, first ASRC win of your career, Nathan. I know you're on kind of a part-time schedule here, but how does that feel to add your name to all the names of winners here in this league?
Yeah, certainly pretty cool. Obviously, this was my first start in the street stock. I made a start last night in the late model and only one previous late model start. Yeah, for me, obviously I race at Berlin in the super late model, so obviously I knew Tanner was kind of putting this on. A couple buddies that also run this. Unfortunately for me, I'm in college right now, so I'm on spring break right now. So I've been able to run these past two races, but unfortunately most other weeknights I'm pretty busy. So yeah, really, really happy to run this. A lot of familiar names in the league, also a lot of guys I've never raced with. So a lot of good competition though all around. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you're no stranger to iRacing, let's say, have quite a bit of laps under your belt and an official hosted. And how does this league, for someone watching at home, stack on up compared to official, hosted, and just general competition on iRacing?
Certainly, we have, obviously you almost see week in, week out, right? Zach Nichols, top of the board in qualifying. He's really good on this deal. He's obviously a guy to beat every week. But there's a lot of other names. I know a couple of years back I ran in a league with Ron Hart. Me and him went at it week after week. I mean, there's a lot of names in here that, if you're familiar with iRacing, I get a lot of opportunities racing top split races with a lot of good guys. And man, there's a handful of guys in here that certainly have the I rating to be in top split, but they certainly know what they're doing and are competitive, even in this league.
Yeah, awesome stuff there, Nathan. Appreciate that. And yeah, so kind of switching gears a little bit, going to the real life stuff. 2025, what's that looking like for you and your schedule and whatnot?
Yeah, for me, just me and my dad racing a late model, so we don't really do anything big and spectacular. I spend most of my summer at Berlin racing a super late model. This year though, we are planning to try and go out to Owasso and run their sportsman late model a couple of times. So just a handful of races, nothing like a big schedule. I wouldn't ever say I'm running full time. We try and make as many races as we can. So that's what we're looking at.
Awesome stuff. And if there's anyone, tuning on in, want to keep up to date with your racing, with some good places to find you at?
Yeah, certainly. I put a lot of work in. Obviously, I'm continuing to try and develop my YouTube content on my YouTube channel. You can find that on Nathan Kester Racing. That's on YouTube. Yeah, greatly appreciated if tune into that. Do have a Facebook page. I'm not much of a Facebook guy, so I try to put all my work into the YouTube stuff. But yeah, certainly could find me there, and certainly I'll be at, like I said, Berlin. I can't guarantee how many times, but we're going to try and run every weekly show there for certain, and we're going to make a few Owasso starts as well.
Awesome stuff, Nathan. Well, yeah, we'll be sure to tune on in, keep up to date with your racing in the real world when it comes to 2025. Best of luck for all that goodness and all that stuff. So you, my man, I like to always ask, especially first time chatting with someone here in the booth, give a little bit more insight for what's your sim setup like? What are you maybe looking at? Wheel, pedals, all that good stuff in front of you.
Well, certainly I've been on the iRacing service for, I feel old saying it. I've been on it since 2018. So, do the math. That's going to be closing up on a decade here real quick. I do have a triple monitor setup. It's a GTR chassis. I have a Fanatec 2.5 belt wheelbase, and then I also have the V3 pedals. So pretty cool deal. I just upgraded my computer a year ago. If you're wondering what that is, it has a 4070 graphics card. So running good. Have a beautiful unit. Certainly I've throughout the years been upgrading, and definitely makes it a great tool for my real world racing. But certainly on nights like tonight, we can have a lot of good fun with our buddies.
Yeah, that you can. And like you said, you get to race with a lot of people that, you may know names, and get to race with them on iRacing. Definitely very, very cool. And hey, that sim setup sounds good enough that, if you want to grow that YouTube some more, could even maybe start streaming when you decide to race, right?
Oh, certainly. It's something that I've played around with. I just need to really hone in all the settings, honestly. But
Yeah, it does take some getting those settings right, because if you don't, some things can go haywire in a hurry.
yeah. The last thing I want to do is come by the grandstands and the graphics or the frame rate drop. So
Yep.
I certainly just need to take some time, figure that out. I'd love to do it. Take time to find some good races. A league like this certainly is one of them. Good opportunity to record, but hopefully in the future I can work out something like that.
Yeah, it would definitely be very cool, Nathan, and would always be a good rewatch. So you, my man, once again, big congrats on the first ever ASRC win. Congrats again on the win here at Richmond here and here down in Victory Lane. Before we let you go and celebrate it, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you for the final time and thank who you got to thank, whether it may be some sponsors, some of those all-important teammates, or maybe some people that might be tuning into the broadcast.
Oh, certainly. I'd greatly appreciate if people check out my YouTube channel. That'd be a great help. Once again, Nathan Kester Racing. You see my name on the screen, Nathan Kester Racing on YouTube. Check that out. Beyond that, obviously, check that out. You see my real world car, all the partners on that car. But certainly for being here tonight, you for putting on the broadcast, Tanner Talarico for putting this whole series on. Got a couple buddies between Zach Nichols, Jaden Kratasi, Jimmy Gauker for kind of getting me into this deal, let me know about it, and certainly had a great time.
Yeah, definitely some good names to have as some teammates right there, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, Nathan. Well, we won't keep you any longer, man. We'll let you go party it on up here tonight at Richmond, but you have a great rest of the night. Go celebrate this win.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, folks. That was our race winner, picking up his first ever ASRC checkered flag, Nathan Coaster. So once again, big congrats to Nathan here, and let's go and wrap things on up. Run through tonight's finishing order, because we know with that big one on the white flag lap, that shook up a lot of the standings. So here's how everyone finished. Nathan Coaster will pick up the win, picking up his first ever checkered flag here with the league. Hayden Swank picks right back up here after Slinger with another podium finish. Jeff Dillon will pick up his second podium finish of the season, finishing in third. And then our points leader will rebound inside the top 5. Zach Nichols will finish 4th. Finishing in P number 5, a great run for him. Couldn't quite get the job done there at the end, but was oh so close. That will be the 6 car of Mark Fuquay. Then in 6th, an impressive run by this guy right here. Was up in the mix, it seemed like, all night long. That is the 20 of Regan Ford. Jaden Kratacci will finish 7th. 8th going to Stephen Hoffman. 9th, and the biggest mover of the night, last race winner, started shotgun on the field, finishing 9th, is the 51 of Ron Hart. Devin McDonald will rebound into the top 10, finishing in P number 10. Then it is Caleb Ramsey finishing 11th. 12th going to Zach Coyer. 13th will go to John Sanu. 14th is Greggy Long. 15th is John DeMeester. 16th is Stephen Rochford. 17th going to Landon Dickens. 18th is Dave Payton. 19th Ty Delphia. 20th Andrew Payne. 21st Jason Griffith. 22nd Andrew Hardings. 23rd Mike McCaskill. 24th Braden Cook. 25th Jimmy Gauker. And then finishing last here tonight will be Chuck Darling. So that will do it here tonight from the Race 1 Wrap Street Stock Series from Richmond. Be sure to tune in same time, same place next week, as these guys will try and tame Irwindale Outer, one of the best tracks here on iRacing with the multi-groove. That is a race you all won't want to miss. The last time we were there, late model stocks earlier this season, 3 wide finish to the checkered flag. I'd have to assume it's the same deal here coming in the street stock, so that will be a not miss watch here next week. I have been Brett the Jet in the booth once again with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check out Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great sim racing to broadcast Tuesday nights as well with the American Sim Racing Club with the Postma Flooring late model stocks. Once again, Turn 3 is partnered with Premier Setup Shops. If you would like, and it would be also appreciated by myself and all the rest of Turn 3, link in the description. That will take you over to their website. Even if you don't want to buy anything, traffic from us will show our support as they support us. If you want to find out more about American Sim Racing Club, check them out in their socials there at the bottom. We're on Facebook, X, and of course our all-important Discord page. Once again, got to shout out Tanner Tallarico, series admin, and the sponsors here at ASRC, Race 1 Wraps, LaPlante Racing Product, Boardwalk Subs, and Postma Flooring. And then another big shout out, of course, can't forget about you guys, all the viewers tuning on in, either coming in from live viewers or the replay viewers. The last couple ASRC races and bowl series have been pulling awesome numbers, so want to give a big shout out to all you guys tuning on in. It is really appreciated by myself and the rest of the folks at Turn 3 Racing Network. So that will do it here tonight from Richmond for race number 7. We'll catch you next week for race number 8 at Irwindale Outer. So everyone stay safe, have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next week for a great one. I have been Brett the Jet, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.